Now that we learned that certainty can be a cage and the spark of maybe can be an idea that something could end up being better, what about the doors of possibility? That's what we're going to talk about today. Hi, this is Jill from the Northwoods talking about how to make our lives better, one small step at a time. I talked about this book, The Gift of Maybe from Allison Carmen, and it's a wonderful book. It changed my life, and it's not just about philosophy, that you nod along and realize, sometimes life gets messy. It's a practice, a way of retraining our minds so that when we come to something that's uncertain, we react differently to it. Instead of tightening up, it instead asks us to loosen up, stop catastrophizing, and maybe we can breathe just a little bit more. And instead of insisting that we know every outcome, we have to remind ourselves at times we're not going to know the outcomes of most things in life. And not knowing, that's where the possibilities begin. I kind of had a scary eye thing last week, and I started catastrophizing and wondering, what if I go blind? First in the right eye and then in the other eye. And instead, when I went to the doctor, what I got was, you were unhealthy before. You are now on the path to health after dropping 80 pounds. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing this great. And you are fixing what caused this eye problem. Keep going. And instead of fear, I got a confirmation I'm in the right direction. And that's what I hope to be able to give you. I've tried to walk, these practices in my own life too. These tools gently open up the mind to the possibility when fear starts to slam every door. And that's why this first tool is called the door of visualization. Sorry, my words are all... And this first tool is called the door of visualization. And how it works is, let's say you decided that you're trying to face something that's going on right now. Maybe it's something huge. You're deciding to move or change jobs or get married or end a relationship or start a relationship. Could be small too. Maybe you're just trying to decide you're going to start taking a new routine, start taking a new class. You're going to start tackling the thing that has been holding you back your whole life. Or maybe you're just going to go look for a new hobby. But now imagine that you're sitting there and each option is a door. Door A, door B, door C. And if you're like me, you tend to create these options even though they don't really exist in opportunity. None of these doors are closed. There's nothing dramatic or symbolic about them. They're just doors. What happens if you open up one of those doors and just look in? What do you feel when you just look inside that door? Does your chest feel all tight? Do you feel nervous? Do you feel energized? Or maybe you feel heavy? Do you feel like the air around you is expanding and you're like, yes, that's what I was looking for? Or there's some kind of dread. The doors are going to be something like, let's say that when I was looking for my new job, one door is I'm going to take this new job. The second door is I'm just going to stay at the job that I'm at right now. People who like me, my customers like me, I have a good place here. And the third door was maybe I just leave the job entirely and I go find something else entirely different. Something like that. So you open up the door with your mind, you step inside, you walk around for just a moment inside that one door. Here's the new job. You took this new job. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How's your body responding? Is your breath easier or is it more nervous? Now, step back out, close that door. Do the same thing with the next door. And keep doing it through each of these doors. And it sounds too simple, maybe even a little weird, but the idea is that you will start to emerge once you've stepped into this door and lived in that reality for just a few moments. Your body might know things that your brain hasn't quite figured out yet. And for me, with that new door, I was happy in my last job. I liked my last job, and my last job liked me, and my customers liked me. But then when I walked into the door of the new job, I don't know, I felt relief. I felt like a sigh, like, this is what I've been waiting for. And I did that, and I thought the safe choice was staying in my job. It's the one that looked best on paper. I knew what was expected. I knew that people liked me, and I thought the new job was going to be chaotic and that was going to make me feel tense. And instead, when I walked in that door of possibility, it felt beautiful. It felt relaxed. Like I said, it felt like the thing that I had been waiting for my whole life. So the riskier choice ended up being the one that I had fear about, but instead it was the invitational door. It was the warm door. It felt spacious and peaceful. And I instinctively knew that's what I wanted. That was where I was going to take my shoes off and stay a while. And the door that I thought was comfortable suddenly felt constraining. It felt uncertain in different ways. And I realized, you know what? My fear about this new job is not truth. It was just loud. And I ended up taking that job. And so this book, The Gift of Maybe, is what led me to settle down those fears and decide what I wanted to do. Fear is saying, I'm uncomfortable. This new thing is new and I don't know what it is. So therefore, I don't know what it is. It must be wrong. But maybe says to you, you don't actually know. And so the door visualization is a way to bypass all this fear and spinning logic and help you understand it a little bit better. The next tool is what's called the Elevator of Maybe. And so imagine that in this particular tool, that you step into an elevator and the door closes. And so everything outside the elevator disappears for a moment. So there's no planning, no forecasting, no predicting. You're not running into the future trying to figure it out or digging around the past to figure out what it is. You're just sitting here. You're just right here in this elevator. It's a neutral place. It's a neutral gear of your mind. And so maybe if maybe feels too optimistic, you can't quite get there, the worry feels too big, perhaps the neutrality of this elevator gives you a moment of breathing room. It's a mental vision of saying, I don't know what's going to happen next. Let's just see. That alone can give you a moment of pause, help save your sanity a little bit about it. A lot of us grew up believing that the only way we know to feel safe is to know exactly what's going to happen next. And that is just not life. Life is inherently unpredictable. Someone said the only thing enduring is change. It's constant and it is always going to change. And the more we try to control every variable, the more stressed out we become. And so the elevator of maybe doesn't ask you to assume what's going to happen. It just invites you to stop assuming anything. Just stop assuming that things are going to be bad. It can bring your mind back to a level possibility of what could potentially happen. And maybe even what you hope is on the other side of that elevator of maybe. And, shifting your daily patterns around. That's another tool that you can do. Something interesting once happens when you start using these maybe tools intentionally, the world becomes open in tiny ways, quietly at first, and then much bigger as you get more used to it. And so this kind of happened to me when I got sort of into a really weird routine. I work for a California hospital. They don't even get into the office until 10 o'clock my time. But I got into this practice of getting to my computer, sitting at the desk, and starting to be productive at 8 o'clock my time. And the thought ran into my head, Jill, no one's coming into work until 10 o'clock. Why are you here right now? I was sitting there being productive instead of living my life. This was my time, right? I'm not going to have time at the end of the day because I work now till 7 o'clock at night, my time. This is my chance to do something new, to change up my life a little bit, start going to the gym in the morning. Maybe I don't have to start work this early. Maybe I could go for a morning walk, talk to a friend, go shopping, get my groceries done, maybe do a few podcasts in here. And now I'm starting my day out with things that are more joyful, things that I actually like, instead of the ritual of just sitting down, getting up first thing and going to work. Maybe it didn't change my circumstances, but maybe changed my outlook. And my outlook changed because my choices were different now and I wasn't giving it a chance. So this is exactly what the gift of maybe teaches, that we allow one small maybe into our minds. And it helps us loosen whatever rigid pattern we've been doing. It keeps us in this narrower place than we need to be. I don't need to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning. I can go out and live my life. I can go out and enjoy the morning. It's a different thing. And so sometimes if you think about it, you could do something called the Possibility Journal. If you use Apple Journal, if you use Day One, if you use paper, in your journal, this would be just a simple notebook where you can just record small experiments, not big life changes, but small what ifs. What if I got up and exercised in the morning? What if I tried a new recipe today? What if I tried that hobby that I've always been meaning to do and I never did? Or maybe I start to exercise when I've never really been very good at it. That way you can structure your brand new day. Reflect on it. Did it feel good? Did it open something up in you? Did it teach you something new? Or maybe you didn't like it at all. But these tiny little notes, these little tiny experiments of maybe in your life, they can teach you, if anything else, that uncertainty is not an enemy. It's a doorway. It's a place where life starts expanding. And fear will tell you that if you change something, everything might fall apart, or this might get worse, or everything might get worse. And maybe instead responds, if you change something, you know what? Things might actually get better. It's the only way we can gather evidence and test it out. So these tools matter because it gives us this chance to practice maybe deliberately through doors, elevators, tiny experiments, little notebooks, and we didn't have to see the path. We don't need to eliminate fear entirely. We don't have to have full clarity of what's going to happen next. We don't even need to see how this is going to end. Instead, we just see the next step. And every time we take one small step into the unknown, we expand our sense of what's possible. And we become calmer, more brave, more flexible, more alive, and we're going to be better at uncertainty in our future. The concept of maybe doesn't eliminate uncertainty. We're always going to have that. Maybe instead teaches us how we can live well inside of it, whether it's a positive uncertainty or a negative uncertainty. But either way, we're going to get through it and we're going to figure our way out of it. And we're going to have grit and perseverance to do that. We will figure it out one small step at a time. That's the whole purpose of, this series, my podcast, and everything else like that. If certainty is a cage that we've built to stay safe, maybe is the key that can open up the door and turn our world into a world of possibilities. And maybe you didn't know that key was right there in your own pocket. All right, everyone, thanks so much. I appreciate you walking through this with me. The book has been monumental in my own life. It taught me a lot. I wish I could get some other people in my own life to read this book, but it helped me to change my life, to step out and do something big in this particular case, to change my life and make it better. But maybe for you, it's going to be something small and quiet, but it invites you to step through that door. If you have anything to say to me, you can email me at jill@startwithsmallsteps.com. You can put a comment right here in the channel and just say, hey, or you can go to jillfromthenorthwoods.com and you can see all my podcasts and all the YouTube channels that I do. Thanks so much and have a great day.